Okay, I'm back. So remember me telling, cut that out. This is the shape I cut out, okay? Now forget these right here because I hadn't got these done yet, okay? Initially it's just been, basically I just really rough cut it. I come around through here, kind of cleared that out, and then I just kind of straight line across through here. Gave me a little bit of close to the shape I wanted there on the radius around there, and then straight lined across through there. So imagine this is from here, my fingernail to the hole right there is all filled in with wood, has not been cut out. And same thing here, that's not been cut out. So I took that, and this hole has not been drilled out. So all I did was drilled this is now a 7/32 hole. I drilled it to a 1/16 of an inch, okay? Once I did that, then I took something small, like a little needle of some sort, put it about where, so imagine this is going to be my scale now. So I put it about where I think I want the end of my scale to be in comparison to the knife. I want it where maybe my scale is going to come out. Let me zoom in a little bit here for you. Where a little bit of my scale is going to come out, like right beyond where the end of the knife is coming out. So I want the scales to hide this little section here. Maybe you can see a little bit of it, but be real close to this area here. So that's what I'm doing, and again I'm lining up the top. So that needs to be lined up on the top. And once it's lined up on the top, and you got about where you want the end of the scale to be, you find your center point. Of course, that's going to be a much smaller hole, so it's going to be easier to hold that pivot and control where that thing's going to go. So that's a very small hole. And now, once you've held it there, now you can spin it like it would be spinning on if you only had it on one scale, so you can see actually what it's doing. And what you're looking for is for where it's going to stop and not the blade be hanging out now on the top portion of your handles. So try to center that up. So I don't really want to go much further than that, right? Because then that will be daylighting out on the back side of the top side of my scales. So that's about as deep into the handle as I can go. So then what I did, once I found that, I traced everything. Through here, there's where the blade's sitting. I mean, I pretty much showed everything, so I want to know exactly where my blade's going to sit inside that scale. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here too, just out of curiosity. You know, I don't guess you have to. But center that back up. Now I want to know where this is sitting when it's open. Remember when I first put it here, these holes wasn't cut out. So there we go. Now we know exactly where everything's sitting at. If you need to, now I lucked out and I put it right where I wanted to and didn't have to move it. When I closed it, it allowed the blade to stop where I wanted to stop at. So there we go. There's the inside of one of our scales, okay, and how the blade would sit inside of it. And of course, I don't think you want your scales to look like that, big and square. Biggest thing you want is the point to be hidden. So I wouldn't go much further past that. You know, your point will be hidden there on that end. And on this end, remember, this is where the blade was coming in right here. So I want my scale to go up close to where, when it was open, see right there is where it's going to be when it's open. So I want my scale to get real close to that, maybe just a touch beyond it. So somewhere in there for me, and you guys do it however you want to. So I did a little round like that, come on around like that. something nice and clean. And then beyond here, remember, that's why I wanted to draw where my, my tang's going to be sitting, right? I want that to be flush with my scale. But beyond that point, it don't need to be flush with anymore personally. Now, if you want to continue this on flat, you can. You want to continue this on flat, you can, but I didn't want to. I want to start giving it some curve and feel back here on the back. So beyond that point where I drew, I got more flexibility. This needs to be nice and flat to match my blade, but beyond that, I can start putting a little bit of a curve in this thing. Personally, that's what I wanted. A nice, round going on there, rounded in there. And then on the top back here, however you want to. If you want to put a choil here, you could do that. I wanted on this one to go fairly clean, so I'm going to make sure I'm plenty deep enough where my tip's beyond inside the scale, and I want to be uniform with the other backside, so fairly round there. And then I'm just going to tie these together and make a nice large radius. So there's my scale right there. So I'm going to darken that up. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll use my Sharpie. I wouldn't use a Sharpie. I'm just doing it for you guys so you can see where my scale is going to be. So there's my scale. There's my scale right there. That's all there is to it. Remember, I stuck my pin in there, so now I got me a point for my drilling also. Right? So now I know where to drill. If you want to leave this open until you get ready to do it, maybe, don't put these curves in here until you get your blade centered and sit in place. So, but get these holes drilled. And so now you can kind of see there's how my blade's going to sit above the handle scales, right? So that's it. Now, once I did that, there's my handles. So I'm going to stop there. Of course, you can imagine at this point you want to cut this out, get your handles kind of laid out the way you want them to, and then we'll move on to the next thing. So we'll do part 3 later on. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope it was helpful. If you got any questions, leave it in the comments. Y'all have a good one.